If you're managing short-term rental properties and you think Airbnb's 2026 policy changes are just another update, you're about to get blindsided. The 24-hour cancellation grace period isn't just another guest protection policy, it is a revenue killer. And the new off-platform restrictions, they're designed to make sure that you can never own your guest relationships. If you don't have a direct booking system in place by Q2 2026, you're going to watch your calendar empty out while your competitors fill theirs. Here's what's actually happening and exactly what you need to do about it. Change number 1, every booking, I don't care what cancellation policy you set, now has a 24-hour grace period where guests can cancel with full refund. Think about that. You could have a strict cancellation policy. A guest books 6 months in advance and they can still cancel 23 hours after booking and get everything back. Airbnb executive literally admitted this will slightly raise cancellation rates, which in translation means that your calendar is going to have more gaps. Change number 2, the new off-platform policy. Effective from May 2025, you cannot collect contact information for rebooking. You can't send them to an external guest portal with booking links. You can't encourage them to book for their next stay. Basically, Airbnb is making sure that every guest who stays at your property stays Airbnb's guest, not yours. Change number 3, reserve now, pay later, which sounds great for guests, but it means that they can also book your property with zero money. No skin in the game, higher cancellation risk, which means more calendar chaos. This all means that you're gonna have less predictable revenue, more last-minute cancellations, and zero ability to capture guest relationships through Airbnb's platform. Not only Airbnb's, but also other OTA's platform. And I get it, you're already dealing with occupancy that's down from 54% in 2022 to 47% now. You're adjusting prices every single week, trying to stay competitive. You're working more hours and making less money. And now this happens. But here's the thing, the operators who are going to survive in 2026 aren't fighting Airbnb, they're building their own system. And there's one critical step that almost everyone is skipping, the step that determines whether direct bookings actually work or not. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a big mistake I see happening right now that is just a bit sad to see. When people think about direct bookings, I see everyone jumping straight to tactics. They hire a contractor to build them a beautiful website, they try to set up some emails, or even they try to do some ads, whether that be Google ads or Facebook ads. And yeah, those things actually matter. But they're skipping the most critical step, the step that determines whether any of this stuff actually works. They are skipping the brand positioning. They don't understand their brand positioning. They don't know who they're actually targeting. They're trying to be everything and to everyone, and they wonder why their direct booking website gets a few visitors here and there, but no bookings. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the framework that makes direct booking actually work, the one almost nobody talks about because it is not sexy. But if you get this right, everything else becomes easier. And if you stick till the end of the video, I'll show you the 3 step-by-step process that you can actually implement from now on to start creating your own direct booking system that gives you actual bookings and not just attention. Okay, so here's where most property managers or short-term rental operators go wrong. They think that they need a website, email marketing, they need ads, and they build all of that stuff without answering the most basic question. Who are you actually trying to attract? And I don't just mean families or business travelers, I mean who specifically. Because if you don't nail this down, you're just wasting your time, your effort, and your money on something that doesn't even work. Let me give you an example. Let's say you manage a luxury mountain cabin in Colorado. Most people would say that, okay, we're basically targeting big groups of families. Okay, that's pretty much everyone who wants to book in a big property, a big family. And that's also useless for marketing. But what if you got specific? What if you say we target families with kids who ski? What if you try to speak to people with household income of 200K plus? What if you try to target people that lives in Texas, Arizona, or California? What if you target people that book 6 months out for holiday weeks? And what if you target people that values privacy over hotel amenities? Now we have something that we can work with. Because now that we have laid this out, we know that firstly, they care about ski and access, family space, privacy. They're probably afraid of booking something that disappoints. What triggers them to book is seeing other families also having that experience. And what messaging that works is, this is just an example, but you can say your family, your space, your mountain escape. You see the difference between all of this and this? Before you even try to build a pretty website, you need to know who you're talking to specifically so that your messaging makes them feel like this property is built for them. It's not just built for anyone. And the more that you understand who your target audience is, the easier that you're going to attract them. Because again, they felt hurt. They felt like this is for them specifically. Most short-term rental operators skip this completely. They copy what others are doing, generic messaging, maybe professional photos that doesn't evoke any emotions, and then they wonder why nobody books direct with them. Now let me show you an example here. This is a standard direct booking page. Usually the headlines are pretty much going to look like this. Again, going back to the example of a luxury cabin in Colorado, you're probably just going to write luxury mountain retreat. And then what's next? it feels shallow. It feels like other direct bookings out there. But now let's take a look at the other one. It says your family's private ski escape. No resort crowds, no shared spaces. See how that speaks to a specific type of audience? These are the same type of property, but one is generic and the other one knows exactly who is it for. Which one do you think will convert better? Probably this website is gonna get more attention because it speaks to more people, but it's not gonna get more bookings than this one because again, you're not targeting someone specifically, you're just targeting everyone. And when you're speaking to everyone, you ended up speaking to no one. So before you even start on thinking about fancy designs for your website, you want to start thinking whether someone lands on your page and think this is exactly what I've been looking for versus this is nice, I guess. So same with email marketing. Most people just send generic emails to past guests. They have an automated template, which is already good enough. Some people don't even have any email automation in place. But again, people are tired of seeing emails like this because they know that it's automated. They know that it's templated. They know that it's meant for everyone, not just for them. And when you send emails like this, nobody cares because you didn't give them a reason beyond saving money. In this day and age, it's harder to make people come to you to trust you just by giving them discounts. But what if your email content looks like this? The subject, your kids ask when you're coming back. The body, hi, name, we just got 3 feet of fresh powder and the hot tub is calling your name. Your family loved the slopes last time. Want to beat the holiday rush and book your week now? You see the difference? This actually seems more genuine. It's speaking to what they actually care about. Their kids having fun, they have a good memories there, and you're making it easy to recreate that. You're reminding them that you exist. But you can only write these kind of emails if you understand specifically who they are and what they value. And that's why we always start with the first most important part, which is understanding your brand positioning, understanding your target audience and who you're targeting to specifically. Obviously, you're not going to just send emails like this. You want to try to design it so that it's appealing, use CTAs, and don't make it too long. People won't read the whole email. But even from the body text, you can already tell the difference, which one are going to convert better. Now, the last piece. Everyone says post on social media to drive traffic. Everybody's posting on social media right now. You should also post every single photos that you have onto your Instagram. But is that it? Like, what do you actually post in the social media platforms? Most short-term rental operators just post pretty photos. Maybe they post sunsets, cozy interiors, hot tub shots, all nice and all generic. But if you know your audience, for example, families with teens to ski, what should you actually be posting? And again, I'm not just talking about pictures of kids skiing. We need to create videos that are not only speaking to them but also make it engaging because that's how we gain their attention in the first place. We can't be posting just normal photos because they can see these kind of photos everywhere. But if you combine it with visuals, with storytelling, so that they can actually envision what their experience can look like based off the videos or the stories that you provide in your Instagram, in your social media platform, that's when you're going to get predictable booking. So just for the sake of example, I'm just going to provide photos, but ideally, again, you would want to make them vision how their stay are going to look like when they stay with you. And the easiest way to do that is by visuals. Show videos of families unloading the ski gear. Show videos or pictures, for example, maybe parents relaxing while their kids are on slopes. Again, not just basic generic photos of scenery, although that's also good every once in a while. You need to tell a story because there's too much noise in social media right now. It's harder for people to trust someone. And if you're not taking an extra step to build a brand that people actually like, trust, and would buy from you, then you're just gonna drown in the noise of other 50 identical listings. Obviously, you need to also show the interiors of your place. Instead of just a dining table, you can actually bring people, act as a family that eats together their dining table and having a great dinner. Or you can create a visual that clearly tells that they're having fun by doing board game in your living room. In this day and age, if you have a vacation rental, short-term rental, it's not that you're selling a place. You're selling an experience that speaks to what your ideal guest actually wants. So when you post this kind of post consistently, you do it right, guess who finds you? Exactly you're trying to reach. And you're probably wondering, what is the reason of me posting ski videos or like family skis when I'm trying to market my property? Valid. But social media is actually the top of funnel. Before they even figure out your direct bookings, before they even become your email list, they need to find you somewhere. And that somewhere is your social media platform. And if you try to be really niche from the top of funnel, let's say that you only post your bedroom or whatever amenities that stood out in your property, a hot tub maybe, then it's just gonna funnel people who are ready to book and who are actually looking to stay in your place, which is probably just this big. Now that social media in itself is already the top of funnel, we then need to bring them to the middle of funnel and then the bottom of funnel. And as you know, funnel gets smaller each and every time. So if you're only targeting this amount of people, you bring them into the funnel, you're only gonna target this amount of people at the end of the day, which is not a lot. So this is why we need to create content outside of our properties. And again, I see people only posting videos or photos about their properties, which is not wrong, But if you want to create more bookings, if you want to create more attention so that people actually can see you, because again, if they don't know you exist, how are you going to get bookings, right? You want to target a broader type of audience. And again, how do you target a broader type of audience? You need to understand who your ideal guests are. You need to figure out, again, as I've mentioned before, what they like, what they value, what they fear, and then you use that as contents that you can make for them. So that's why when you think about, a large family in a ski resort, we don't only think that obviously they need a cozy place to stay, obviously they need to be within reach of the ski place, but we need to also think like, what are they usually doing? What do they enjoy to do? Not just during their stay, but on their day-to-day basis. And then you show them in the content, that's gonna bring you like a broader type of audience, which then gonna attract more audience. And within those broader audience, obviously they're gonna be people who are ready to book with you. You just need to bring them to the bottom of funnel. From there, people who are interested will go to your site and see the messaging that speaks with them. And then they sign up to your email list. And then they get emails that remind them of the memories, not just discount codes. And then ultimately they book with you. That's when direct bookings work. Not because you have the fanciest website or the biggest discount or the coolest automation out there, but because you built a brand that speaks to a specific person so clearly that booking direct feels obvious. Okay, so enough talking. Let's actually bring this back to what you need to do before Airbnb's 2026 changes hit you hard. As I've mentioned before, the operators who survive aren't the ones with the fanciest technology or the biggest ad budgets. Although that helps, but it's not the main driver. The people who succeed are the ones who build a brand that guests actually remembers and want to book with. Because when Airbnb makes it harder to capture guest relationships, your only advantage is, do people actually remember your property specifically, or are you just one of the 50 other identical options? So let's cut to the chase. Here's what you need to do this week. Step 1, get crystal clear on who your ideal guest is. Write down everything: the age, income, where they live, what they care about, what they're afraid, down to the T. Not just shallow things like their demographics, but also the things that they value, that they care about, that they don't like, so that you can get so specific you could pick them out of crowd. Then step number 2 is audit your marketing through that lens. Does your website speak to that person? Does your photos show what they care about? Would your messaging make them feel understood? If any of this falls off, for example, if your website doesn't feel very urgent to your ideal guests, then you need to simply redo it. Tweak it until it actually speaks to your ideal guest. And then the last step 3, is start creating content that attracts that specific person, that specific group. Again, not generic vacation rental contents, not contents that are also too niche to the point where you only show one room of the place. You need to make content that makes your ideal guest think that this is made for people like them. Now, if you want help figuring out your positioning and building a direct booking system around it, I've opened up a few free strategy sessions. So you're going to be speaking to me directly and we'll look at your properties. We'll talk through who you're trying to attract and we'll map out what a brand first direct booking strategy would look like for your specific situation. Because truth is, depending on where you are at right now, you might need different help. So if you're interested, the link is in the description below. 2026 is coming. The question is whether you'll be dependent on Airbnb's platform when those changes hit, or whether you'll have your own system that compounds over time. Alright, that's it. Let me know in the comments if this was helpful. If you have any questions, also let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next one.